The human hand. The ultimate biomechanical tool. We design mice for the hands of the best. Hundreds of tests, thousands of metrics, refining every curve in every millimeter to provide breakthrough performance for every hand and every player. Introducing the Pro X Super Light 2 Compact. Designed with pros. Engineered to win.
We are gaming fanatics. Our goal has never been to just play games. We think it's much better to feel like you're actually in the game.
Hi, I'm Jado Jada. I currently race GT3 in Australia. It's a cool brand. The socks and the gloves are quite cool, and it's good to use on the sim. High quality materials, and most importantly, comfortable. Quite cool to feel all the bits doing their job, and that's good.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races, such as the Daytona 24, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR schedule, such as the Daytona 500. We have events from disciplines all across the racing world, from the Indianapolis 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events utilize iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against every driver taking part. And as every race progresses, watch and feel the track change with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iracing.com/special-events.
After a long off period, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We signed off the season in the middle of December from the newest track to the iRacing service in Adelaide. That will feature on the calendar yet again. For that, you can be sure, for all the drama, the trials and tribulations that it gave us. But before we can get there, we've got to finalize the 45 drivers that will be making their return. 20 drivers have been offered positions as a result of finishing in the top 20 in points last season. One slot has gone to the winner of the co-driver clash. So Thomas McMillan will be joining us as the 21st driver. There are 4 wildcard slots to come. And as for the other 20 to round out our field of 45, here we are from the qualifying series. Back at Canadian Tire Mosport Park, where drama kicked off and Brenton Hobson thought he had the first ever win and you're in last year. Marbles and slight mistake in tyre positioning ruined that opportunity last time out. Emily Jones grabbed herself a golden ticket, and now we're back to do it all over again. Racing from Mosport's part, Sandman, and it means golden ticket, first opportunity, but first opportunity from a historic venue to the Australian supercars community.
Absolutely. Good evening, Scott. Good evening, everyone, wherever you're watching around Australia, around the world. This is going to be an absolute cracker. I love this qualifying series. I love the pressure that it puts on the drivers that take part. They know what's on the line. Winning, you're in. And then if you can't do that, at least do the best you absolutely can to make that top 20, because boy, oh boy, you want to be part of one of the best racing series in 2026. It all starts tonight.
That it does. What have we got in store for you all here tonight? Well, there's a little bit of a question mark over some of the circumstances that we'll have available for us in the sim. We might actually have some rain coming our way, but Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, this is what the circuit looks like, coming to us from Bowmanville in Ontario, Canada. It's only just over the border, you know, and it's got an amazing flowing layout. It nearly feels like a little bit of an older version of the Road Atlanta circuit that we've been to so many times as well. A lot of elevation change down through turn 1, 2, 2A, 3, through Quebec corner 4. Man, that big dip before the rise at 5A and 5B, Moss corner, and then up the back straightaway. The S's flow. Position the car slightly wrong as you crest the hill into turn 8. That puts you offline into 9. That puts you offline into 10. And it's struggle street all the way in. Last year, though, dirt, dust, and marbles were the biggest question. I can tell you, halfway through this race, there is a very, very real opportunity that the heavens may open. That has changed preparation for the drivers, because that weather in a new format for this year only announced a few hours ago.
Yeah, and the tricky thing is with this racetrack is, you know, I use the word again, tricky enough, you know, the way it is in the dry with the way these corners are and some of the speeds you carry. But if you're going to throw water into the mix too, then that's really going to throw everyone an absolute curveball. But brilliant little racetrack. Doesn't matter what categories of cars race here, it always puts on a good show.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. 20 minutes open qualifying session for a couple of the drivers that are here. This will be their first time on board a V8 Pro Invitational qualifying session within the race. We've had qualifying, pre-qualifying series. Prior to now, that's been out there and running on your own. That's critical because we don't want the drivers getting in here. You basically set a hot lap to get your way in here. Critical feature as part of that is some drivers just don't have qualifying pace. There was a lot of banter from one of our colleagues here in the ASRG family, in Brady Baldwin, who's in charge of some of the dirt racing series. Remember, we've got that to come your way in 2026 as well. He said to us, really not a hot lapper, but I know that once I get in, I can race my way in. The biggest problem for him was that he couldn't qualify his way in. He needed a little bit of help. Maybe it was some of that draft. Well, he didn't get draft in the pre-qualifying sessions. Once he got to this level, he thought he was all good. He had an event to go and attend to. He couldn't do the last night of pre-qualifying. Unfortunately, just barely got bumped out. What does this mean, though, this little mini championship, in terms of qualifying for the series, Sandman?
Yeah, well, like you touched on with the 4 races, so any of the winning, I love the series that has the fact that you're winning, you're in. So that's actually good. But then you're talking about finishing in the top 16 of the points. I mean, that's where it all comes down to, is that if you can't win, you've just got to put yourself in a decent position where you can just accumulate points. If you have a bad night one, it's not ideal, but you can still accumulate those points over the next few rounds and be a contender and just make sure you finish in that top 16.
Yeah, additionally, a new for this year as well, not only the co-driver clash, it's the first time we've actually had a driver accept their co-driver clash ticket. We've already talked about that one. Thomas McMillan will be the recipient of a free slot into the series. Additionally, on top of that, 4 wildcards are in offering. I already know one of them. There's been a little bit of debate about number 2 for those, but what that basically means is that drivers that genuinely would probably be a part of this series in and of their own right, perhaps there's some circumstances that are currently preventing them from racing in the qualifying series. Perhaps they've been affected by natural disasters. There's basically something that's preventing them from getting their way into the series. It could be a good vote, you know, just generally drivers that are there and probably deserve to be a part. You've got to still have a reasonable skill base. They're not just going to pick up you and me, Sandman, and slot us into the series. Although we've got excuses, mate. We're booked out for the remainder of the calendar. So unfortunately, we can't take those wild cards anyway. That's right, guys. You can use those for something else.
Yeah, I'd love to race and show all these guys how it's done. Not really, but yeah. Geez, I couldn't even make the qualifying series regardless, but yeah, that's right. It is a good initiative that the guys have done that. They've got those wild cards in place for certain circumstances, exactly like you said. I love that, and yeah, mate, I can't wait. I can't believe tonight is step one of getting ready for the 2026 season.
Well, I don't know if you've been keeping up to date with everything that's been going on in the Australian Simosphere, but newly announced halfway through the week as well. Some of us that are in the know would have known about it a fair while longer as well. Well, the expansion of the Australian Sim Racing Group's offerings in 2026, we heard about it and the start of it back in Adelaide last year. There was talk of there's going to be a lot of Wednesday nights that are wrapped up here and going to be coming to you live from the Australian Sim Racing Group's social media pages. And it's time to start talking a little bit further about that one. Well, we've got V8 Pro. Tonight, we're kicking off our qualifying series for that over the next 4 weeks. That'll be a Wednesday night, locked in, signed, sealed, and delivered. The second stage of that one, we heard at Adelaide in the championship finale last year. Oceanic Dirt Sim events, that has now been brought under the banner of the Australian Sim Racing Group. That's right, you can be an Australian Dirt Sprint Car Australian Sim Racing Group champion here as well. So that expands the offering. Then, all of a sudden, sneaky Facebook posts and sneaky social media sites started appearing midweek this week. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to announce we've got ourselves a Porsche Cup Championship. Not much more to announce other than that for now, but I can tell you with the addition of the Porsche 992.2 package, including ABS and traction control systems, which is going to be a first here for the Australian Sim Racing Group. There's none of the cars that we've competed in up until this point have had those driver assists and offerings on board, but we're going to have Porsche Carrera Cup racing. Don't know about you, Sandman, but I've been a Porsche Cup fanboy since I first started racing. So this feels right to me. This just feels like we've got ourselves a support series on the calendar.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're ticking all the boxes, aren't you? You're talking about supercars. You're talking about, Porsche Cup racing is famous all around the world. And then to throw in some dirt racing as well, I mean, that's sort of,
just
it's whetting the appetite. Whets the appetite for anyone, doesn't it? It's so good.
Yeah, I can announce as well that pre-qualifying will be from Oschersleben and Rudskogen. Our Genuine Series administrator, Brenton O'Brien, struggles to say the word Oschersleben. So the next time you see him in a dark alley, try and get him to say that one. He is going to hate you every single time you try it. Pre-qualifying coming our way at the back end of February. Wednesday the 25th of February right through to Saturday the 28th of February will bring us the pre-qualifying rounds. By the looks of the calendar that I've just been handed, I have very, very few details on this at the moment that I can actually talk about. It looks like it'll just be a hot lap competition. There won't be a qualifying in series because we just don't genuinely have the time to squeeze that one in amongst all the dirt offerings. So that is about everything that's new to cover for this year. But yeah, there's a lot in that and a lot to be covered. There's a little bit of a change in the regulations as well in terms of the way that we've already sort of touched on it. But server conditions, which is critical. Over the last couple of years, it's been announced fairly early what the weather will look like for the race. This year, that changes. The drivers are not going to get that. What that means from a practice perspective, though, Sam, it makes it really tricky to prepare for these races, which, well, it should be.
Yeah, exactly. I like it. I like the fact that, you've got to be prepared for whatever conditions may be thrown at you. So testing is going to be crucial, leading up to events where you might test in conditions that are hot, that are cold, that are wet, that are dry. Like all these things that these teams need to be ready for, just because you just don't know what's going to be thrown at you. And I think it's fine that these teams and drivers need to have that little extra thrown at them, because I think you're talking about the best supercar drivers in the land, that we think they should be able to prepare for something like that and to have that as a back burner. So it's going to mix things up a little bit, I think, because there's going to be teams and drivers that might go one way with the direction with the car setup and then to be thrown completely a different curveball.
I can tell you, this car we're actually keeping half an eye on. I've actually met the lovely lady that's behind this one. Philippa Bakita is actually a international level competitor in her own right. This is her first real foray into the top level of competitions in iRacing, though. in years gone by, she has actually qualified for the World FIA Motorsports Games as an Assetto Corsa driver, which is pretty unique. This is the first time that she's actually shown up and competing in V8 supercar competitions. So there's a wealth of skill there and understanding of how cars and mechanics and everything go together. But adapting that and getting behind the wheel of the supercar, I can tell you from talking to Philippa at the event a couple of years ago that she has actually done a fair bit of driving on iRacing. So that's not new. That's not brand spanking new to her. But the thing that is really the supercars. That's not her wheelhouse. This is the final results coming out of practice. A little bit of a late last-ditch gasp there, though, from Sam Blacklock puts him atop the pile. Here's our season 2026 schedule. Sorry, my apologies. We've got a small mistake on that one. But this is the final standings from practice, and Sam Blacklock's right up there. I can tell you from the pre-qualifying results, though, Jake Burton, Robbie Gibbs, and a couple of the others were right there and on the money. Isn't it funny to think about? We were talking about Rick Kuznetsov in 2024 being in the championship potentials frame. This year, he's got to qualify his way back in.
Yeah, it's funny, and we're going to see that, aren't we, throughout the list? You're going to see names and go, really? They've got to qualify in? Really? They've got to qualify in? And that shows, like, one, the quality of field of drivers that we've got now in our series and how tough it is. But, you know, some people don't have the best of seasons too. Things don't go their way. Unfortunately, they'll slip out of the top 20 and then, you know, they have to make their own way back into the championship. So that, again, puts more pressure on everyone in the qualifying series because it raises the level of competition just in the qualifying series to make the show.
Another little note's just been slipped my way as well. I've got 2 announcements. There's 4 wildcard slots. I can tell you the name that are attached to 2 of them. One of them is the driver that won this very race last year. No, it's not Brenton Hobson. He didn't actually chalk that one off, and he does not like stabbing and twisting the knife about that one as well. He's qualified in, though, for the year in 2026. He doesn't actually need to race this one. Emily Jones has automatically received a wild card slot. Again, driver that was capable, finished in the midfield, qualified right up the front, couldn't make the last couple of rounds. Definitely deserving of a slot. Another one, Andre Heimgartner, is going to be here for all of 2026 in terms of racing capability. So again, another driver that's not necessarily available for racing their way in through the qualifying series. Wildcard, we want you as a part of the series. You mean something to us as a series and you provide benefit. But there was another couple of names we walked our way through. Hayden Veld was one of them. He's got to race his way back in. Let's talk about the potentials, because here's another one. Jake Burton, how many times has he sat in the commentary box throughout the qualification process? No, he's out there on track. He's got to earn it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean. You see some of these names and you just sort of scratch in your head like, my goodness, they have to race their way in. But, yeah, the beauty that we got, and have a look at the cam. And now, look, let's talk about the socks. Are they lucky duck socks, or what are we talking there for Jake? How good is that? If he gets in and wins, he'll probably have to wear them for each round, I tell you, because that's an absolute cracker. But, yeah, Jake to race his way in. He's obviously got pace on board. We saw how much of a contender he was just as a co-driver as well. And definitely got pace on his side. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jake goes over these next couple of races.
Well, I was just about to sit here and say, are those approved pedals? Have they passed pre-race inspection? Are we okay for those ones? And yeah, you talked about the wardrobe choices. You give us a foot cam, you are going to get judged. Whether or not your choice is to race in socks, in boots, in bare feet. There's a lot of different choices up and down the sim racing paddock, including the way that you put your sim rig together. Right, we're on board with Jake Burton. He's going to come through and puts a lap time to 4 spot on the grid. Early pace setter, actually. Tyson Hodge is right there and amongst it. Brad Ratchu found some speed late on. He was very pacey, remember, in the co-driver role for Tyson Broad all the way back at Sandown in the Endurance campaign last year. Kuznetsov right there to the top. Lachlan Capel! New stable, new car, new top to the timing sheets. That is a big statement lap early. Another one that I actually just saw down the field as well. Have a look at Ross Rizzo back and in form and in 18th spot after lap number 1. Spoke to Blake Warboys just prior to the start of tonight's qualifying efforts as well. I can tell you he is running ragged at the moment. He has had a very, very long and weary day at work. His results and his target for the night, just get through, just be inside that top 20, which is well below what he is capable of. And that speaks to the mentality of that driver tonight.
How's Capel's time compared to Hodge too? That's incredible.
Yeah,
and then only another couple of thousands behind for Bradley Ratchford. So absolutely nothing in it these first couple of laps. And of course they've still got plenty of time, but just over 15 minutes still to get a couple more laps. And it's a very quick lap around here. So it doesn't take long to belt a lap round here. So these guys, whether they have their first one or their second one that doesn't turn out too great, they'll fire back to the lane, get on some new Dunlops and have another crack at it. Oh, Burton's now gone straight to the top on an 18.8.
So that's weird, the fact that Jake Burton's gone again, because was it me, or did he put a lap time in already?
Yeah, he did. He banked a qualifier. I think it was only around maybe 5th, 6th or something like that.
Yeah.
And now he's gone to the top. So this second lap, he's obviously found gain, and he's got a little bit of draft there from a teammate in front of him as well.
Well, I'm just looking, and there's actually a bunch of guys who didn't actually go back to the pit lane on that one and have gone for another stab at it. I just watched Hayden Veld, a little bit of a moment. That's part and parcel of what we're looking at. Rick Kuznetsov's session's done. I just heard a tow request from Rick Kuznetsov. There's a blown engine down the Moss hairpin.
Downshift. I wonder if that was a downshift, because that's very hard on the brakes. You're sort of getting ready, you're following through. I reckon probably downshift. I wonder if it's blown up that way.
That's early in the session as well. Every single time. How many times did Brady Myers do that? Was it twice last year? I heard him request tows in the middle of qualifying sessions, had to come from the back. It was definitely Phillip Island, if you remember, was one of them. So
your memory's way better than mine. Here we go. We go on board. I'm going to listen.
This isn't even a hot lap, I don't think, from him, which makes it even the more weird. Yeah, downshift. Engine gone. Wow. There you go.
Oh, that just makes your night just that, because he probably hasn't even banked a time. So, man, talk about starting on the back foot already, but well, yeah, that's hard to swallow, isn't it?
Really interesting, and that's probably the best shot I've ever seen to sort of show that one off. Here's Daniel Poulton going to try and put a lap together. Daniel Poulton was in around the back end of the qualifying times, so this will be the start of his third attempt at a qualifying run. Have a look at the stream of cars coming out of pit lane. They've all got to try and get through. This is going to cause compromises. But, mate, it's a short, busy little lap around here. There's no opportunity. And normally, if this is the Pro Series and this is actually here, we have championship standings and we split them up by top half and bottom half of the field. We don't have that in the Q Series. We've not got any standings for the year. So there is it's an all-in session around a tiny, tiny little lap.
Yeah, and when you're talking just over a minute for a qualifying lap, it's going to bunch up a heap of people just because you're just trying to find that little bit of clear track. It's catch-22. You want to utilise a little bit of that draft where we're on the part of the racetrack right now. Down this back straight, if you can just get a little bit of a sniff, that's massively that works in your favour. But to be held up in traffic, it's catch-22.
My word, it's busy out there at the moment. And right now, it's just about trying to get your way through any which way you possibly can. So they're going to try and have a crack at it. Daniel Poulton coming into the final sector. He'll hope he won't wrap on the rear bumper of the car. That's a teammate directly ahead of him for the One Performance Racing outfit. Slide out of the final corner. 19.974 is valid. Gets him on the board, but it's at the tail end of the field. 45 entrants here tonight. And the last of those with a valid time is, I'm seeing Jamie Dyke, I think, at the back end of the field at the moment. So, sorry, my apologies, it is not. It's Riley Bilson who's the last of the drivers. It was Dyke who had the slowest time in practice sessions. So Jamie Dyke's actually made a significant gain from that one. And there's a lot of names in this field that you recognise as well. Think about Ryan Jones, who was in the series last year as well. Probably raced his way in off the back of the fuel strategy and the safety car at the best/worst possible time at Fuji. Boy, wasn't that a race where the fuel save and the push strategies lined up perfectly even. That was one of the races of the calendar for me. It was in the Q Series, but we get that about every year from the Q Series.
Absolutely. Check out the times too. The top 7 covered by less than a tenth of a second. Like that's nuts. You look at it. Look at 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th. Like this, the times are just incredibly close.
Dennis Katarik's moved his way massively forward up the running order into 4th. That will be a really, really strong lap from him early on in this session. Caught up with Angus Lawford as well. I said, mate, how long have you been driving these things? Because I just didn't recall him in years gone by being much of a supercars driver. And he said to me, yeah, look, rebuilt the wheel about 9 months ago, and then, yeah, I've basically just been doubling down on this specific race car. And I think it's paying off for him at the moment. That is a very, very solid lap for somebody who's not known for their supercars capabilities in the community, and that says a lot about him at the moment.
Absolutely. It's good, hot lap pace, and then you throw into the mix some racing, and then that's where it all changes too. So that's really good. And people talk about just how difficult it is when you join, supercars. If you're not used to running these cars, just how difficult they are to drive compared to whatever else we've got on the server. Everyone's got their favourite things, and obviously it's a bit of an Aussie New Zealand taste and flavour as far as supercars, but you jump out of, you're talking about GT cars or Porsches or something like that with all the traction control and everything else. It's a world of hurt when you jump into supercars because you really have to learn to drive again.
Something has just happened to Dylan Pereira, and remember last year was cruelly denied at the last opportunity the ability to qualify his way in. A couple of drivers weren't able to accept their tickets, and Pereira was able to join the grid last year. Exited turn 1, there's an OPR car in the fence, and he's just tagged it. That's a
Talk
right
about
off that car.
Yeah, wrong spot at the wrong time.
But they've got to get out there for their lap. They have to get out there to try and put a lap together.
Yeah. Thankfully, he's trying his absolute best. Oh, that's not going to turn. Yeah, no. That's not going to turn. He's trying his absolute best to get back to the lane, because if he can get back to the lane, he can jump out and have that car repaired. But, man, that would have been heart and mouth stuff from that onboard camera, because he came around that corner and saw all that happen in front of him, and now he's got all that damage.
And we'll get a replay from Ryan Betes. So Daniel Poulton, so this would be the reversing of that order that we saw in the train. Previous bang. So his 2 cars impacted there. It was an Evolution Racing Team car in and amongst all of that, I thought, as well. I don't believe, no, I'm not even going to mention who I thought it might have been, actually. Stay away from that one for a little while longer. I still know, by the way, that there are drivers in this field that should have teams locked up and put together, and they don't have it. And it's Marcelo Rivera who's back and on the sim yet again.
Yeah. Look, he's on a hot lap. He can see the cars on exit here, and it's like he just tries to grab a bit of racing line, and he just doesn't he doesn't clear him enough, and he hits the car, and they've gone into the wall, and then it's ricocheted. So, whew. It doesn't even look like, when you're on board, it doesn't even look like that he made contact.
No, it looks like he's just barely brushed him, but obviously ejected the car stage right. Brad Ratsu, after setting an early quick time, slid down the order to 9th position. Capel's early lap time and Tice Hodge, they've stuck around in the top 10 as well, which is really, really important to their night. And this will be the final replay that we'll get on board from Daniel Poulton.
Oh, he just glanced aside. Whew. Anyway, I think everyone's got away with it. They've all got back to the lane, fixed the car, and they're all having a go again.
Oh, it's building up at the exit pit lane again. I can tell you there's a queue. There is absolutely a queue at pit lane exit at this point in time. There are a number of cars involved in that one. Brody Sentence, Ryan Betes, Wayne Walker. Blake Fitz, my apologies. There's a bunch of guys that basically just evaded the track, and they've jumped off the track because that's the only way that they can circulate and stay out of everybody's way. Rain Campbell's another one that's in among the track is just busy. You would want to have not only a banker lap time, but a strong lap time together. Here comes Ratsu. We're going to try and take a look at the track map and tell you how busy it is. There's 45 cars out there, and Brad Ratsu is going to go ahead and steal it whilst we're on board with him as well. Goes to the top of the timing tower. This is the chaos that is down at turn 2, the Clayton's corner. My word, look at the number of cars in that area of the racetrack all at the same time.
Now look, and those cars that are on the grass, that's not bad driving by them. That's good heads-up driving, because what they're doing is they're coming out of the pit lane and they're doing their absolute best to get out of the way. So what they're doing is just getting straight off the racetrack, getting onto the grass and just trying to merge in when the track's clear. So normally you'd look at that and wonder what's going on, but they've actually done the right thing there.
you don't want to be assessed an in-race penalty for impeding somebody else's lap. Because if the qualifying lap is great, that's awesome. But if you've got to serve a 10-second time penalty at the pit stop, you may as well just forget it with how close this field is. You are going to be giving up bulk positions. Capel, at the moment, putting sector times together as he comes up to the S's. New livery, new team, and a show of speed from the driver of the number 18. Oh, and it was his birthday this week to boot. For Lachlan Capel, he'll line it up in the Mustang out of the last corner. Drives the number 18 because he is a NASCAR fan. He's a Kyle Busch fan after your own heart there, Sandman.
Oh, no.
Okay, never mind. All right, Sandman's found himself an enemy in the field.
Oh, jeez. Oh, well, you know.
I can't believe out of everything I've said tonight, that's the thing that brought you unstuck.
That's the one that nearly tipped me to walk out of the commentary box, I'll tell you that. But, anyway. Moving on.
Hayden Veld, by the way, down in 20th spot. Struggle street for him tonight. And another driver at a new team for 2026. Josh Horton will improve out of 6th spot, grabs 3 up to 3rd. 45 thousandths off the time from Brad Ratsu. That's a reasonable margin atop the pile. Wayne Walker has been kicking away in top split of V8 veterans of late, and he's also going to do it in the Pro Series as well. 24th in his quest for qualification. Scott Gamble's actually a little bit ahead of him, so there's the veteran drivers going head-to-head after retirement of Sean McNamara at the back end of last year. Shout out to Sean, by the way. All the work that he's done on himself over the last year. He stepped away from things. Do you know why? Put more time into the series as well. It wasn't just, yeah, I've had my time, I've had my fun. It's he wanted to refocus where he was applying his efforts, and the sim racing community at large is going to benefit from that. So to Sean, we say thank you. Keep your eyes on. How about Kurt Stenberg in 10th spot? Sim racing's favourite on board.
He was sort of in the top 5 before, but that goes to show just how close everyone is punching out these lap times. So still just over a 10th off P1, but in 10th. So good to see that Stenny's up there.
You know what's good to see? Wayne Walker's going to go ahead and put this lap time together. Not quite able to improve upon that one. But the thing I will say is Will Buchanan's actually run out of fuel.
Yeah.
No, engine expiry. So
yeah,
that will be the end of the session for Will Buchanan, which is 23rd on that running order for him. That is a significant improvement. He is doing a great job. The primary sponsor on board that car, I had a few questions when I jumped down to chat to Will prior to the race, because Will's, again, another one of those drivers that's actually just quite lovely to go and have a chat with, talk about racing and a bit of a laugh about all things. I said, mate, what are you doing? The channel name's called AITX. What do I call you tonight? He said, no. Primary sponsor is AITX. The team is still Revolution E-Racing. So that is their primary sponsor that they are called by, and you can see that livery all over the car. Team is Revolution E-Racing on board for Will Buchanan. And there it is, the Sten can.
There he is. And he's doing his best just to get back up to speed.
That's some new sponsorship on board the side of that car. Do you have anything to tell me?
No, I don't know anything about that, to be honest. Bit of TTR energy there. So I don't know if he's trying to psych himself up for a new season. I might have to ask the boys all about that.
Have a look at Rain Campbell having a chew away on the lips as he enters the S's as well. This will be a fast lap, I think, for Rain. No, dive to the pit lane. But it's worthwhile noting there's 1 minute and 50 seconds left in terms of qualifying at this point in time. But that was Rain chomping away at the lips, which says he's not altogether all that happy at the moment. You know who else is actually really, really cool to see back in the series is Ryan O'Sullivan. Down there in 5th spot after partnering Ethan Greig-Gold at Bathurst. He is back to qualify in his own right. And confirmation at the end of pre-qualifying night as well, Ethan Greig-Gold not returning to the series in 2026, which is a big note because that has been one of the bigger names in V8 Supercar Sim Racing over an extended period of time. And if Egger's going to take a break, sit back, relax. We will see him back for the Enduros though.
Yeah, he's such a good steerer. So, yeah, it's surprising that he's not back full-time. But, yeah, people are going to love to snap him up. There'll be people fighting over him to have him as part of the Enduro campaign. So that's good.
There was a fight for Jake Burton, who got him, I heard, down at TTR last year as a co-driver, and Ando won that one out. But Burton's back here and amongst it once again. This is probably going to be the camera of the qualifying series. We're going to have to check it. Hopefully, you know what? It's really weird and really rare that I wish a driver bad luck. I hope Jake Burton finishes second at every race in the qualifying series, just so we can see which pair of socks he brings out each week.
Well, I was gonna put it on him that if he wins tonight, maybe he has to wear the duck socks for every round. Good on him. I love it. A little bit of character there.
It just gives us something to talk about, doesn't it? I guarantee you, Emily will let him know at the end of qualifying, or if not, his spotter, that we're talking about his socks. The response from Burton would be, yeah, right. So, to the final sector.
So he might not be P1, but at least he's right there or thereabouts, and that's the checkered flag for this session. So P2 still not too shabby. Actually, he's just gone P1, I think, has he? He has.
Yeah, he has. He's nicked it right at the last. The Brad Ratsu might have thought he had locked and nicked it by over a second. By the way, I have confirmation we have 2 10-second time penalties that are coming our way in qualifying already. Marcelo Rivera for impeding Will Brown, and Daniel Poulton for that contact with Marcelo Rivera has been also handed 10 seconds to be added to the race time. So Marcelo Rivera not only gets 10 seconds for himself, he is also the reason another 10 seconds get... Well, okay, I'll change the language on that one. He is the one impeded and gives... and is the reason... you know what? You can't say that one right. He has been impeded and he was an impeding driver. Therefore, there are 2 10-second penalties related to Marcelo Rivera from the qualifying session.
Wow.
There you
and
go.
a bit that hurts too. P5 in this session. So that is going to be, that's going to make his night very difficult. But look, never say never. If there's a little bit of weather around, you know, he'll serve those penalties. Could be random safety car just come out at the wrong time for him when someone, you know, we've already seen 2 engines detonate just in this qualifying session. So who's to say that there's not going to be another engine drama and there's a safety car? Who knows?
Well, talking about weather, weather is going to be something that we'll be talking about throughout the race. And the reason for that is approximately 45 minutes after the start of the race, just shortly thereafter, there is a sharp rise in rain chance to the end of this race. So basically the second half of the rain is in a 45% is the minimum chance after that period in the race as well. Qualifying results at the moment coming through for our weight confirmation. Jake Burton has snagged pole position for qualifying, a 1:18.709. Brad Ratsu returns to the series in style and with a whole bunch of speed. He'll be driving for Robert Drop Bear off of the front row. Robbie Gibbs in privateer livery for now, but I can tell you there are teams swirling to have him on board for them in 2026. Lining up alongside of him is Vermilion Esports' Josh Horton. These guys less than just over a 10th off of the pole position. Marcelo Rivera had a series out last year, took a break from things. He is back in 2026. Ryan O'Sullivan drove to co-driving fame alongside of Ethan Greek-Gold last year, but also has a solid career behind him. Can he qualify in 2026? Another all-teammate row number 4 is going to be Sam Blacklock, lining up alongside of one of his best mates of late, a guy who these two have been challenging each other to continue improving week in and week out. Sam Blacklock, Lachlan Capel in the Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports row number 4. Row number 5 of the starting grid is going to be Blake Warboys. Good to see this man back after fatherhood took him away from us last year, getting everything set up and ready to go. Bit of TTR energy puts Mr. Lightning Stenberg inside of the top 10. We'll move back to Angus Lawford, his return to the supercar in P11. Dennis Gitarik will be lining up alongside of him in the Synergy Sim Racing Sud Speed 333. Out to row number 7, Tice Hodge was one of the early lap times that was set in the session, very quick and up at the pointy end. Rick Kuznetsov will be lining up alongside of him, probably a touch deeper than Rick would like. That is about where you would start to feel a little unsafe about your potential for qualifying. Leo Duncan will be the Vermilion Esports driver alongside of the first of the One Performance racing cars in Ryan Bettis out of the 8th row of the grid and 16th spot. There's only 11,000 per second between these two guys as well. 275 thousandths all the way back to 16th spot. Scott Gamble in the Evolution Racing Team car in the black liveried car, and Rain Campbell will line up alongside of him. Less than 0.3 of a second, covers 18 drivers. The first driver outside of that buffer zone was a driver who waited 4 rounds to score his point from the Pro Series last year in Jack Whittis. He had a torrid time of things, and Dylan Pereira will line up alongside of him, and that rounds out the 20. And if we draw a line in the sand, that's your 20 drivers that qualify at this point in time. The qualifying series, though, always has more to tell. Trans-Tasman Racing put together row number 11 of the field. It's Ross Rizzo back and amongst things. Russell Pepperell, 2,000ths of a second in behind. Boy, wouldn't he like for 3,000 slightly further up. Out to row number 12 now, and Jamie Dyke is the Fishy Motorsports entry in the qualifying series. Tom Freer failed to qualify for Pro Series when he had the speed last season. Pedal failure was the reason. What can he show us in season 2026 and a tighter qualifying series he might have wanted to be in last year, and pushing his way forward and not have to do this. Hayden Veld switched teams in the off-season for Eclipse Simsport's 25th spot on the grid. Brian Borg will line up to his outside, who'll also have to race his way in after finishing in the back half of the field in 2025. Teo Sorono is another one of those drivers, but Teo actually put together a really, really quick run towards the back end, just barely not able to make his way in. Will Buchanan will line up alongside of him in the only ARTX Revolution e-racing car. Wayne Walker has pace on his side when it comes to V8 veterans. What can he show us from the field from Logitech V8 Pro qualifying series? Brad Newman, the only Lobs Esports driver in the qualifying series this time by. Known for his oval antics, what will he have on for us? He is a personality that will probably keep a camera on right throughout the qualifying series. Ryan Jones perfected the strategy at Fuji in the qualifying series last time out. Philippa Bukita, a young up-and-comer and a female driver in the field to his outside. William Brown will come our way from 33rd spot. Damian Johnson will be alongside of him. Aaron Borg all the way back down out of V8 Ute fame for the number 4 entry alongside of Jordan Mazzaroli in one of the other Project 36 cars. William Sapstead, I've been told he's a great guy to interview and have a little bit of a chat to, and he'll be lining up alongside of James Chastanuff out of 36. Chris Ireland was starting to get at the back end of the field at this point in time alongside of Billy Mole. Billy and I were having a little bit of a chuckle before things here tonight. He's in good spirits. Brody Sentence and Daniel Poulton. Poulton was one of those last couple drivers who was in and around that bubble trying to qualify their way in 42nd. 3 drivers come our way. Blake Fitz in the privateer entry out of 43rd, and Riley Bilson will line up in and alongside of him. And that is the 44 drivers that take to the grid here tonight. We'll get into our grid walk here as well, ladies and gentlemen. And the first driver we're going to have ourselves a chat to is the man sitting on pole position. Jake Burton, you want to commentate the race whilst you drive it? I think you can do it.
If you drag me up, I'll either tell you to bugger off or I'll start talking. Whatever works for you, Scotty.
Mate, long time off in 2025, obviously trying to put together a fair few things. That's all come together nice and simply, but now you have yourself a little bit more time, and I'm feeling that's the reason you're back here in qualifying in 2026.
Oh, yes and no. We've been doing this a long time now. If you go back to Scops, it was 2014, that all started. So I'd been doing it for 10 years, and I think I just needed a bit of a break from, racing all the same people and working with all the same people. I just needed a bit of a year off, so I took that. But I think doing the Enduros really reminded me that I enjoy being a main driver, and thought it was a good time to come back and have a go.
Mate, probably the weirdest question you're ever going to be asked about sim racing. Are you ready for it? What's the go with the socks, and are they your lucky ducks?
I do wear them pretty often. Funnily enough, I've actually had a lot of bad luck in these socks. I've got a black pair and a blue pair. The black pair is the unlucky one and the blue is the lucky one. So I don't know. We'll see. I just thought Jay wanted to have some more people on the broadcast, and my face isn't all that pretty, so I thought some feet might do.
I'm done. Look, that's it. That's the broadcast for the year. You've ruined us. Thanks, Jake. You've done us in. Get out there, go hard and have some fun, because your feet are going to be talked about.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's I should monetize it really, but unfortunately, you guys are getting it for free tonight, so enjoy it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jake Burton off of pole position. I'll be out the back trying to catch my breath while Sandman gets through an interview with Dylan Pereira.
Oh, Dylan, you are so lucky you didn't hear all of that conversation, mate. Let's concentrate on your race tonight. back in P20, it's not the best of positions to be on the grid, but hey, you're on the grid. You're ready to tackle race one. How are you feeling at the moment?
Yeah, a little bit frustrated with the outcome of that session. Was sitting P10, I think, after the first laps, and thought, yeah, surely this will get better. But just got into a bit of trouble, getting into other cars, but also, just not positioning my car well, so couldn't improve. So P20, not too bad. If I can do better than last year, not blow an engine, that will be a win.
Oh, it's funny you say that because we've already seen a couple detonate just in that qualifying session. So it'll be something that we might be talking about, might bring out a safety car, and let's hope it's not yours. But there's also a little weather about possibly too. So how do you feel about that maybe coming into the mix?
I think that'll be really interesting, to be honest. I don't think anyone did any wet laps until just early this afternoon, and just did a few myself, and the car felt pretty good. So I think it'll be interesting to race, and I think it'll be quite fun. So I say bring it on.
Good stuff, mate. Well, hopefully the rain falls at the right time for you to get on the right tyre and blitz a couple of these cars around you, and we're talking to you at the end of the night, mate. But until then, good luck for tonight. Head forward, and we'll talk to you afterwards.
Thank you.
There you go, Scotty. So Dylan's ready. He's praying for a little bit of rain, and I don't think that's probably too far from our mark either. I think we're looking forward to the heavens opening up, but time will tell.
Time will indeed tell. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you at the moment it is 3 p.m. in Sim. The forecast for this afternoon's racing had us with a chance of racing kicking off from any time. Sorry, chance of rain kicking off from any time from 3:30 p.m. in the Sim and climbing very, very quickly thereafter. I can tell you I've kept an eye on the weather forecast and the radar. There is a chance. What happens is the weather forecast updates every 15 minutes. Well, we can see about an hour and 20 minutes or so into the future at the moment, and that's when we first start to see updates. The weather forecast changes. So we will get ourselves the opportunity to settle in. We might not get rain. It might run away from us at the tail end of things. So here we go. We'll be set for ourselves and a race start here in about 45 seconds, Sandman. So from the first qualifying session of the qualifying series, anyone jumping out to you nice and early on?
Oh, mate, there's so many names. Like, we spoke about it in the lead up. We scratch our heads looking at some of the names, and Jake Burton's just one of them that, man, he's actually part of the qualifying series. It makes it so much difficult for everyone else. I think it's hard to go past Jake at the moment, but, mate, time will tell. Absolutely love the win in the end. 51 laps, 2 pit stops. It should be a bit of fun.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 2026, the engines will come back to life. In 5 seconds' time, we'll get into the start procedure. Here we go, qualifying series from Mosport Park, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. This is it, from the front of the grid, from the back of the grid. The lights will come on. The revs have started to rise. The jump start comes our way from Marcelo Rivera. He stalled the car. There's a car stuck on the right-hand side of the grid. Finally gets rolling. Somebody goes down the inside. They're spinning in the mid-pack. Marcelo Rivera's been tagged. There's someone around at the front of the field. It's Rick Kuznetsov, I think. He's been hit massively from the front and the back. There's a car from the rear that's caught up in it as well. We might see a lap 1 safety car. That was not on the bingo card.
Oh, and while all that's happened, Jake Burton is now in P2, but man, oh man, that all started with a jump start, then a stall, and then all of a sudden it just hell broke loose. There was cars and drama everywhere, so a lot of damaged cars. Their night may already be over, and we didn't even get to turn 1.
Well, first time down on Moss Corner, and Brad Ratu is covering for all money. Burton's going to work him over, just about getting into the rear bar. Robbie Gibbs has made his way into 3rd spot, so he's already trying to make some time up as well. There's a few wiggles in the background, and drivers trying to survive, get out the other side. I can tell you, everyone from the front of the field is still trying to roll. Scott Gamble's involved and bent on the front end of that thing, and that is a run back to pit lane. I think the whole field is still running.
Running, but there's so much damage to Scott's car. That right front was absolutely destroyed. So that's his night over. They can repair it, but he's going to be so far down by the time he gets back out. Man, that is incredible. So a lot of damaged cars right at the start.
Yeah. And Marcelo Rivera is going to go tumbling down the field as they cross that start-finish line. Sam Blacklock's grabbed himself 2 spots. Josh Horton's managed to maintain. The front 2 have swapped. First and second have swapped positions. The only 2 drivers inside of the top 10 that have maintained their position are Robbie Gibbs and Josh Horton. Everybody else has shuffled. Big gainer, Dylan Pereira, 20th to 14th spot on the opening lap. That's huge for him. Wittes is up 5. Tice Hodges lost a few spots. Tom Freer, 24th to 17th on the outside of qualifying to on the end. Felder's inside the top 20. It is all shaken up, and here comes the first of the OG Gear replays for season 2026.
You're going to be looking at that Logitech car right there, jumps to start, then obviously puts the clutch bash in. When he gets to go, he's stalled it, and all of a sudden the cars just have to split him. And then the cars behind him, he gets going, and then it's just drama because everyone's trying their best to dodge, and then it just turns into calamity and chaos.
And safety car's been deployed.
Still goes on too around the corner, so we didn't see all that because we were monitoring all the action back there. So,
there's
like I
a
said,
car.
safety
Campbell?
car. And look at these, everyone's taken the time to go straight to the lane. You've got to make 2 mandatory pit stops. So straight away, they're getting that first pit stop over and done with.
There's a bunch of cars that have gone through and just gone, you know what, we'll take track position. Who's dived in? Who has dived in? I think Josh Horton, Brad Ratu with the... No, sorry, it's Horton and Rayton Campbell have stayed out. Guys that are just thinking about playing a little bit of strategy. Did Jack Witters stay out? If he can grab track, no, Witters is in. My apologies.
Yeah, everyone's in, I think, except now the top 3, so Horton, Campbell and Hodge. So I think you've got to take it. You've got to jump in the lane and get this free. It's a free kick, basically. So, yeah, they've rolled the dice. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do, but, yeah, it certainly makes things very interesting now.
My word. So I can tell you Marcelo Rivera's got a penalty to try and serve. His car is somehow still rolling. And this will be the change of position. So Burton didn't get a great getaway, and Ratu was just able to hang it around the outside. Again, He's probably just been a little bit kind, Jake Burton, because he doesn't need to get involved in anything. He's aggressive, but also just going, there's 20 spots here on it. Well, there's 16 spots on offer plus 4 winners. Yeah. If Ratu wins and gets in tonight and he finishes second, we get to look at socks next week.
No, he did the smart thing. He knows the big picture. Why do you want to throw away? You know, he already knew that he probably would have had some sort of idea there was drama behind him. So he didn't need to push the envelope as such. And now he puts himself in a decent position. He's right there. He's got good car pace. We saw all throughout qualifying. So I don't think, as much as he would love to be leading at the moment, I don't think he's too concerned at this stage.
He'll just sit there, he'll watch, he'll read, and he'll just keep picking away at things. Brad Ratsu's popped back out behind a few people. I wonder whether or not something's going on with Brad Ratu, because he's not popped out where he should have been. And Ryan O'Sullivan and Blake Warboys have taken a very short fill as well. They're right up at the pointy end. Ryan Campbell got into the back of Scott Gamble, so he's got...
That's where that damage came from.
Was that from that whack with the tyre barrier?
Yeah. Yep. He was racing, and then obviously there was contact.
Oh, no.
So he got turned.
Oh, no. All the Vermilion cars are in this time by. Yeah. Josh Horton was at the head of the field. When he comes out, he's going to be at the back of the field. That's a mistake.
That's interesting. Yeah, personally, I think they made their bed. Whether they made the mistake of missing the lane or not, they probably could have rolled the dice and just see how it all played out. You never know. We might get another safety car in about 5 or 10 laps time. Yeah, that's a tricky one, isn't it?
Very, very interesting. I'm just taking a quick look. It's Will Brown that's the car at the front end of pit lane that I was keeping an eye on. Marcelo Rivera is going to come in and serve his penalty and try and repair and put a car back together best he can. Scott Gamble's day is done. Yep. We'll be going green flag back to the end of this lap, and the ruling is that Scott Gamble's car was towed back to pit lane, therefore he did not make it under his own steam, and therefore his day is done. You see the car is leaning on that right front tyre, and the other side tyre is in the air.
Yeah, it might have cooked a motor too there as well. But, wow. How's season 26 looking? I mean, we're only a couple of laps in. It's a qualifying round, and we've had massive drama from the start. And that's the unpredictability of motorsport. You don't know what's going to happen. All it took was a jump start, and then it turned to absolute chaos.
We had a safety car here. Well, the safety car decided things last year. There was the call to double stop on the safety car because a bunch of drivers got into pit lane prior to the safety car being called. That meant they were eligible to come back down the very next lap, which effectively put all the Eclipse drivers on the back foot, but they still managed to race their way in. This time, though, Ross Rizzo actually leads actually, sorry, we will not be going green flag this lap. I just heard a very, very late call. There is going to be another safety car lap. And the reason for it was Ross Rizzo was caught behind the safety car and was out of place. So that was a late call on that one. So they picked that one up and cleared the pack. Will Sapstead now leads, but again, has not given us a pit stop.
Funny, I was just watching as the safety car started to pull away. I saw the number 40 on his windscreen. I'm like, is he in 40th? Like, what's going on there? So anyway, race controls fix that. We'll do another lap. It'll give these drivers just that moment just to catch their breath and get the heart rate down a little bit, and we can go racing again.
So I'm just doing some reading up and just some catching up. The reason the Vermilion cars didn't pit was they didn't think that you were eligible to pit under the safety car because it got called on the second lap. Now, the ruling is the safety. If that happens on the first lap, you're not eligible to come into the pit lane. If it happens on lap 2, and the safety car call wasn't until they'd already gone by to complete lap 1. So therefore, it does count as a compulsory pit stop. Now, if it's not chalking off a compulsory pit stop, yeah, track position is actually pretty relevant and pretty important. But if you're eligible, so that's a big mistake. Big mistake for Vermilion, and particularly for Horton, who was up at the head of the queue.
Yeah, it's
It
always
was
a bit.
poor spot.
It's a bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? But sometimes, if you miss pit lane or whatever the case may be, sometimes it's worth just staying out because you just don't know how the rest of the race is going to play out. So easy to say it from the commentary box. It's different when you put yourself in the driver's seat and when these teams are all trying to roll the dice and get the win. But who knows? Still a long way to go, but it definitely makes their night just that little bit more difficult.
Well, here we go. We are setting ourselves up for the first safety car restart of 2026. Blake Warboys is chilled out. He actually hasn't pit, and he's the last of the 3 drivers in the queue to have not pit. But again, a little bit deeper in the field. And, sorry, my apologies. Blake has pitted. My apologies. He has actually given us a very, very short pit stop and jumped to the front of the field.
All he needed. It's good.
Here we go. Safety car in pit lane. And we are set for another restart. The queue starts to bank up as they make their way up and through the S's. Ladies and gentlemen, qualifying series underway, but then we put a pause on it. Now we're ready to go again. William Sapstead is going to lead us away in an opportunity to lead laps.
He goes.
Here, but out of sequence. One extra pit stop to come from William Sapstead. What can he do from the head of the field? Is he capable of giving us something? Ryan O'Sullivan, Blake Warboys, they're now at the head of this field and they've gained a bunch of track position. What can they show us? And does everyone survive first to second of the racing laps as well? And have a look at Burton already trying to have a crack.
Yeah, I was going to say, even Ryan Sullivan, he's looking very racy there as well. So you can see, looks like he's got a little bit of pace there on board. But at the moment, everyone just needs to catch their breath and just let this first lap play out. Don't take any silly dives. For sure enough, move around in the mirror and make the drivers around you think that you're going to make a dive. But at the moment, just let this play out. Give it a lap or two. See where you're at. Stretch this field out a little bit and then start thinking about some of the dive bombs that you might make.
Marcelo Rivera done for the day in his attempt to re-qualify. And all of that, he's got one person to blame. And that's himself and the jump start. And that stings. That will suck. That will be something that he will have to live with. He is on win and you're in specifications for the rest of the qualifying series. Burton's going to have a go at the final corner. Slides it in there. Now it's going to be Robbie Gibbs, who'll also look for the crisscross. And it's on Blake Warboys, who is just getting assaulted. A veteran from the series, a driver of enough stead, but also a driver that's wily. But again, this comes back to the challenging factor. You've got 4 weeks. You need to put points on the board in all of them, and they've got to be big points on the board in all of them. You cannot afford a slip up in Q Series.
There's another, yep, there we go. Just seeing about making a move there, but he's just going to be smart about it. Oh, a little mid-corner. Oh, he's giving him a tap. Don't finish him off. If you had to turn him around, that definitely would have been a penalty. But he's just giving him a littlest love tap, and he's going to go on with it. Thankfully, they didn't go around. He's going to go around the outside. It's a nice move. Sets him up beautifully for the inside. Oh, there's been contact. He's run a little bit wide. Had to pull it up. It's still not over. They're going to go side by side.
And there was more contact in the back there from Tom Freer, who's a little bit out of position as well. Lachlan Capel's going to try and pull alongside. Are you kidding me, Sandman? 2 races from Mosport Park. 2 races in the qualifying series. Safety car dramas. The field gets stacked up. Now it's going to be the run up the hill. What part does the weather have to play in this? Tom Freer with the late block on the crest of the hill as well. Rain chance is starting to pick up, but it's still over an hour away. We have got to get through this dry period. We've got to sort them out. How long do you go on the stint waiting for the heavens to open? At the earliest, an hour away is what we're starting to look at. But we might not get there for a few of these drivers. And I think a few of these guys have got to get through their heads 4 races. You miss out on points in one of them, you are on the winning you're in. That makes strategy nearly impossible to try and figure out. So hang on, belt yourself down, put the slicks into the dirt, and you might be out of here.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the gap now the top 3 have got over Sam Blacklock. He's got a little bit of a train forming up behind him. So all you can see, looks like, is that Blake Warboys? It was just flashing the headlights a little bit. No, it was Gibson. Here we go, Burton. So he's now moved into P2. So he's definitely on the charge. He's not worrying about points. He wants to win tonight, because if you win tonight, you don't have to worry about the next 3 weeks. You're already in. So he doesn't have to worry about that. It's eyes forward, and he's looking very racy.
And critically for Jake Burton, he's now cleared every driver that's made a pit stop. Will Sapstead, the only one ahead of him yet to come to the attention of his crew. Sapstead does lead the way, and he's doing so in a reasonable fashion at the moment. But Jake Burton is going to be there in just a second. Ryan O'Sullivan's taken the opportunity to track along with them. How about Sam Blacklock up and into 4th spot? Been a while since we've seen that name in this series. He was on board with James Scott for endurance capabilities last season. And now he's got to defend from Robbie Gibbs at the same time. It's just a rejuvenation, isn't it? The number of names, the number of drivers that have swapped, this just doesn't have the same feeling that it did last year when we were in Gen 3 for the first time. Yeah,
it's really interesting. I can see Race Control looking at that move between Robbie Gibbs and Blake Warboys too. So we saw that Robbie made a bit of a dive there, and there was a little bit of a coming together. So Race Control, look at that. Look at Burton, though. Holy smoke. He's thinking about a move up the inside, just dummies to the outside, wants to set him up and get a good run out of this corner. And this is where the long straightaway is. So if he can get a nice clean run here, Sapstead's still a little bit wiggly there. We know he still hasn't got a couple of pit stops to make. So Burton's pressure isn't as much, because he knows that there's got pit stops that he has to worry about. So, but the pace that he's got, I reckon he'll be dealing with him maybe in the next lap or 2, and he'll be leading this race before we know it.
Well, the thing I'm just thinking about from Robbie Gibbs' perspective is, does he just let it... Again, we go back to its quali series. 5 seconds with the penalties here, which is probably all it should ever get, is still way more important than any other time of year. Give the spot back. It's not worth going to the steward's office for it.
Yeah, no, that's
normally, if this was Pro Series, I'd be saying, no, I'm not continuing off down the road. Qual Series, again, change attack. Just think differently. Use the psychology a little bit differently. We saw fastest lap of the race just a few moments ago. And again, just settle yourself in. And the thing about Mosport Park, well, the other side of the coin as well, that's worthwhile talking about, Sandman, is first opportunity to look at a ton of these drivers. We haven't seen what their long run pace looks like at the moment as well. So work your way into it. Jake Burton's still working his way to the inside of Sapstead. Sapstead still has the nose ahead, but look at how much it's checked the whole field up.
Yeah, a moment ago I was talking about the gap between the top three and back to Sam Blacklock. He's right there now. So it's a massive train. They're all there because they know that each other, they're all tripping over each other and slowing each other up, and that's where the train's been able to close up. So even the gap now between Burton and the front is just, what was it, half a second. So much happening. Sam's going to be there to pick up all the pieces if this turns to custard, and that's exactly what we saw last year, wasn't it?
Hey, can I just comment on the shirt that Sam Blacklock is wearing there tonight? He's got the lizard meme on, ladies and gentlemen. He is punching that lizard button. That's a characters, Mr. Sam Blacklock at the moment. He's got a new puppy that has lovingly been nicknamed by all his teammates the Wicked Wing, by the name of Luca at home, and I know that his partner will be watching along the broadcast and cheering for him. So G, shout out to you out there tonight. Got to meet her last year with Sam Blacklock. They were great to go out for dinner with on the Gold Coast, ladies and gentlemen. So I can tell you she will be sitting there and supporting her partner, and he has just recently moved into her house as well. So could you imagine trying to put up with a very, very upset, harassed, harangued, dressed out Sam Blacklock at the end of this race? I hope for him tonight goes well.
Well, so far so good. P4 is not too bad. So still a long way for this to play out. Lap 11 of 51, but he's put himself in a decent position, and that's the mindset you've got to carry into tonight's race. If you can't get the win, is you've got to still finish with a decent position. So he's right there till still to take the win away, but it's all about just accumulating what points. But I'll tell you what, if he sees a little bit of drama in front of him, maybe all the world. Oh no! That's. Oh, he needs to let him gather it up. He did. Thank goodness. Jake just got back on the throttle. Now it's mixed things up behind him too. So Burton's now under pressure, and that's Tibbs up the inside.
Tom Free is going to have a crack at Sam Blacklock as well as he tries to slide down the inside. So they will go side by side, up and over the crest through to A and B. There's going to be Blake Warboys who's managed to just barely slot back in. But I tell you what, the only spot that's really maybe changed hands is Ryan O'Sullivan's been overtaken by Blake Warboys. That's it. In all of that, that's the only spot that changed hands. You're kidding me.
Wow, that was great heads-up driving by Jake Burton. He obviously accidentally got in the back of Sapstead, but he saw that he was going to go around. He got out of the throttle because he knew straight away that was going to be a penalty. He's in a great position. He's got great car pace. What he needed to do was try to get on the throttle and get up the inside. He didn't quite pull it off, made contact, but was smart enough to get out of the throttle.
Stenberg's having a crack at the rear bumper of Brad Ratsu at the moment as well. They just about went side by side down through Moss Corner, and Angus Lawford thought there was an opportunity as a part of it, and Pereira's going to try and buy into that argument. There are battles everywhere, I can tell you, ladies and gents. Just about the entire way throughout the pack. The pack is starting to break up. The top 19 are all still relatively together. Then the first gap is back to Billy Mole. And the reason for that, there is actually damage to the rear end of the car number 012 at the moment. He has got Blake Fitz for a little bit of company. I think Fitz might have just given him another whack.
Not ideal. You don't want to be doing too much damage to your cars when you're in the early laps too, because, yeah, you know, it's going to affect your little bit of downforce and the stability of the car. There's a little bit of damage to that back bumper. That's not too bad, but it's when you get front damage, that's when it really starts to hurt you.
Yeah. Real bent, unfortunately, at the back end of the WKMP Sim Sports entry for Billy Mole, teammate to Blake Warboys this season. And at the moment, rain is starting to get closer. We have an update to the forecast. There is a chance of rain in about 40 minutes or so. 95% chance of rain we're hearing in about 40 minutes of the broadcast. Everything, the feeds that everyone has are starting to go haywire.
Burton!
The worst part about all that, Jake Burton tries to get the outside through the S's for the first part of the S's. That's bravery to stick your nose in around there. It'll give you the inside if he can hang, but he could not hang, and now he's still having a go at the inside of Sapstead to the last corner as well. It's like the only spot that Sapstead is vulnerable is coming into those S's, and he is giving him a right royal working over. The problem for Sapstead is he's still got a pit stop to clear.
Yeah, he's doing his absolute best to hold off Burton. Burton looks very hungry. Oh, there was a little bit of contact, but he got a little bit squirrely here. Burton will try to look the inside, but
Blake Warboy's just about shoved the nose down the inside on Robbie Gibbs as they got down there to turn 3 as well. Now he's trying to get underneath him. This will be the outside through the fast kick here. And now he's trying to cross him back over, but Sapsted's run a little bit wide. Gibbs is trying to get in the engine. At the moment, it's not quite done. You would assume it's done. Gives him the hip and shoulder. Another little rub as they get through Moss corner. Finally gets clear. But the problem is that's just dragged Robbie Gibbs through as well. So Burton will try and set sail. Now it's on Warboys because he's getting elbowed and hip and shouldered as they come into Moss corner. Down the back straight away. It's not really a straightaway. There's a couple of kinks in it. But there's a rise as well. And Warboys and Sullivan. Elbows out, boys. Round 1 of Q Series. There is paint being traded. There are barbs exchanged. And Sullivan prevails again. I cannot believe all of this is going off. 14 laps into this race. And the critical thing, considering that rain, we've had a safety car. The chance of that goes up another notch. We have got to think about that. How long do you run? Do you eke the fuel out, hoping to get to the rain now? If they're trading blows, there's every opportunity you might get home. Damian Johnson sees that. He's going to pit lane because he doesn't want to squabble anymore.
How good was that racing from Jace Burton? He set him up from a few corners back, got the job done. And now, unfortunately, he's in the firing line now. Oh, he's out wide. He's holding on to it. That car's getting very squirrely. Sapsted's just trying to hold on the best he can, but he's getting swallowed up. So O'Sullivan and Warboys are now past him. And Blacklock, he'll be ready to pass too because he can see that these guys have got the job done on him and they'll want to get the position as well.
Willie Sapsted, it might be time to abandon the cause, my friend. It might be time to jump into pit lane. I can tell you, the pack is just condensing in and behind him now. They are all coming up and ready to have a crack at him. Stenberg has got Lawford for company. He is crawling over the rear bumper in the Project 36 car. And now it's going to be Pereira that just about got into the back of Lawford as well. But again, mind the P's and Q's because you cannot afford a penalty. You cannot afford a DNF. My word. It's all in it. And Ryan Bennett is going to try and slide up the inside. Did he get an elbow in? Did he get that one done cleanly? Looks like he might have done. Next 18th spot. Take your eyes off the broadcast if you dare. There's popcorn probably burning in the microwave or on the pot of the stove because you just have not been able to walk away and grab it.
I'm ready to jump out of the commentary box and put my feet up on the couch and watch this. This is brilliant. This is just for the qualifying series to make the grid for 2026. I love the action. I love how desperate some of the drivers are. It's lap 16 of 51 and they're not given an inch. I absolutely love it.
My word, and I just had Lewis Greathead just sent me a message and he sent me his forecast. And I tell you what, his forecast looks different to mine, looks different to the broadcast forecast. So what we know is that we don't know. Rain is circling. It could hit us, it could not. It's certainly pushed back. Robbie Gibbs, though, is trying to push back. And it's on Jake Burton at the moment as they try. Are they trying to scoot clear? You know what? I think they're trying to break the toe of the group behind them. I don't think Robbie Gibbs wants to fight about it. I think he wants to disappear down the road and they'll think about it later on. But for right now, it is show the pace, show a clean pair of heels and scoot if you can.
Yeah, and I think where Robbie was lined up there, he was right there on the back of Jake Burton. Oh, I know, he thinks about to move up the inside. Jake gone. He's gone wide. He's just run off into the gravel, and now he's thrown away first position. He's going to get absolutely swallowed up. Missed the turn in, and ran wide, touched the marbles, and now, where is he? He's fighting all the way back to the 9th place.
My word. And he was talking to us pre-race. He might have to burn those socks after all. The black ones, they're unlucky. That was error, unforced error. Robbie Gibbs wasn't anywhere near him.
Let's go. So this is the replay looking at the back from Burton. He just missed the turn in. He's got sideways. He's touched the marbles, and now he's just holding on for dear life.
And you know the worst part? He's got to pass with Sapsted all over again.
Well, he's got a lot of cars he has to pass again. Back in 9th position. So.
And right now, ladies and gents, I want to give you some information about what we're seeing on the right-hand side of things. Right, there's a battle from 1st to 4th. That group, there's a car defense! Was that Sapsted? That was Sapsted!
Massive incident! He got tagged straight into the wall. Huge damage to that car. Lucky not to ricochet into anyone else. Has he got away with it?
Who caused it?
There was
There'll be
contact.
hullabaloo. Car 60 needs a tow. Car 60 just called for a tow. Who's that? That's Brody Sentence. Brody Sentence is parked up on the entry to pit lane. You know what? They might let that one go. We might not see a Logitech G safety car for the second time tonight. But it is kicking. My God. Are you kidding me?
I don't know how Sapstead hasn't got more damage. We're hearing? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, what are we hearing? That it was Tom Freer. Here we go, the onboard for Freer. Right behind him. I just gave him that touch and into the wall hard. How lucky that he wasn't collected by about 4 or 5 other cars. All make contact with the tyre barrier there. I thought he was going to have major damage, but he's got away with it.
So it's going to be looked at.
Absolutely
It's going to be
will
looked at, and whether or not they'll be held to pay, that is Brody's sentence.
Yeah.
That's parked up on the entry to pit lane at the moment.
If this is
Remember,
a safety car.
has already had dramas with Rick Kuznetsov and his issues. Kuznetsov's back in 31st position. They're just confirming as well that that message was relayed to race control. So there's a lot of standing by, waiting for things. I think Will Buchanan's just been handed a 10-second penalty. Look at them diving into pit lane. We're about to see Pereira and a couple of cars diving into pit lane because they think it's going to be a safety car and they can get their final pit stop of the night done.
Yeah, but if you look at it, I think if we've got a helicopter shot of where that car is, I think it's behind the barrier. It's almost behind the barrier.
I agree.
It's off the racing line as such where the pit lane is. So I don't know that they will call it.
Well, the circumstances generally is they look at it and they go,
Look at it.
What can we do to get this? If in real life you need to get somebody out there to actually pick that car up and put it on a hauler and pull it away, but I reckon you can throw a local yellow flag to use the real world racing terms, right? You throw a local yellow flag through there, get a couple marshals out and push that car and you'll be fine.
Look at him, he's almost behind the barrier. So I can't see that they've got justification to bring out a safety car for that. I think that is just race on.
Car 60 free to tow, no safety car
There
deployed.
you go. Well done. Well done,
But
race control.
how many cars have contributed to getting in there? Robbie Gibbs, 5-second time penalty for contact with Blake Warboys. That was lap 7 though. Yes, that was the contact with Robbie Gibbs. So remember, why not give that spot back? Because you don't need it. But at the moment, Robbie's at the head of the field. He's trying to clear out. At the moment, he's only 0.6 of a second ahead of Blake Warboys, but he's leading at the moment. So you know what? Ryan O'Sullivan's in the block C.
Absolutely.
That wasn't on the big no card.
No, he doesn't have to worry about anything for the moment because he's been gifted P1. So, wow. Unbelievable. I'm just, look at the front, Lachlan Capel. He's got damage to that right front. Stenberg's right there putting all the pressure he can. But how's the right front of that Mustang just torn up a little bit? So that'll be hurting him a little bit aero-wise. And Stenberg looking a little bit racy here. He'd be pretty keen to get past Lachlan Capel at this stage. Oh, he's going to think about a move up the inside. Nice job. Well done, Stenny. It's not over yet, though.
It was a mistake from Capel. The big thing is, have a look at the damage from this. I reckon this is going to be a parachute in a straight line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stenny will just out-drag him here because, he's obviously doesn't have that damage. Plus, he's got the position already, and he's got the preferred line. So, chalk one up there for Stenny.
Do you know where that's come from, I reckon? There is nearly an identical mark to that. You would nearly put the jigsaw puzzle pieces together.
Oh! Teo Serrano.
And that was just called through the race control for them to have a look at. But back to what I'm saying, Capel's car and the shark bite out the front end of it nearly matches the shark bite out the rear end of car 41 and Tom Freer that's in behind. And that would line up with, I think, the Sapstead incident. There was a front end off the car just a moment ago in that battle.
Go drive up the inside. It's just not enough room, unfortunately. So I think the stewards will be having a word to him about that one. And it's a tricky spot. You've really got to be committed. You've got to have enough car to get up alongside, but unfortunately you just didn't get the job done.
Saw a car missing a front end. Russell Pepperell. I just had a quick look through the field. Russell Pepperell, Jamie Dyke has got massive damage to the front end of his car. by the way, that is our only New Zealand participant in the field tonight, is Russell Pepperell. There's a number of cars. There's so many walking wounded from that.
Toe on the front looks absolutely... Look at that right front. That's towed in big time. So he's having a pig... Look at the steering angle. So he's having an absolute pig of a time to try and steer that.
And some of that damage might be just reset. And the other thing for Leo Duncan is he's out there circulating because look at all the cars that are on pit lane. Mate, I've got to score points. It sucks. The car is ugly to drive, but I have to score points.
Gee. Yeah, oh geez, imagine driving that all night. No, thank you. But you're right. That's the position that in. You've got to have that that mindset of collecting as many points as you can, regardless. You know the win's not there, but grab whatever points you can. There could be some DNFs. You don't know.
So that's been that way since turn 1, lap 1. So this is Leo Duncan and onboard at the start. And this is going to come up really, really quickly. Oh, that's Rick Kuznetsov to his left. Oh, no. You know what? He gets...
He got turned. He thought he missed it. He did a great job. Then got a thank you very much as well. So, and it's not over yet either. Jeez. Had more hits than Elvis.
My word. You know what?
Tonight's had a little bit of everything, hasn't it?
Speaking of one-hit wonders, that's a bit of tub thumping right now. That is, I get knocked down, but I get up again for Leo Duncan. So what? This is our third go round of doing this qualifying series to get us out. You've been here a little bit longer. I don't recall a Q series round like this.
No, it's we thought last season was just a bit of a like, oh my goodness, but yeah, tonight has really topped that off. You've seen a little bit of everything so far, and no one predicted the drama that we expected, especially at the start of the race. So, and everyone's hungry. Everyone's hungry and desperate to get racing in 2026, and they want to be part of this championship. They know what's on the line, and ideally you want to win and you're in, but you've got to grab as many points as you can, and we're seeing that from drivers throughout the field.
Where's Burton got back to? He's back to 6, so he is starting to make some time, which is the benefit for him. That is him right now. Update for Tom Freer. Remember the contact with Will Sapstead? Even though Sapstead's still going, he's lost a bulk of time, and there was 10 seconds to pay for Tom Freer. The good news, his race has gone reasonably well to this point, and there is a big opportunity of a good haul of points. There's Ratu following Jake Burton through. That is, I think, Bettes getting down the inside of some more cars in mid-pack. It was Jack Widders he was having a go at the last corner. It was indeed Brian Bettes. So Jack Widders will slide one spot further back. There is some cars who've already come in for their second stop here. Damien Johnson, remember him?
The problem is, though, it's a long way to go on tyres, isn't it, when there's going to be other drivers that are coming out on fresher tyres towards the end. I mean, roll the dice, do it. I mean, we never knew, obviously people saw that car at pit lane, rolled the dice and took a gamble on that pit stop as far as maybe a safety car coming out. But you got to live for the now. They did the right thing at the time, but unfortunately it just didn't roll their way.
Update is that Will Sapstead has actually transited the pit lane for his second stop of the night. So he's actually the lead of the... Sorry, my apologies. I'll retract that. That is his first stop of the night. But he has taken a service. Pretty cool. And at the moment, Wayne Walker is currently the first driver in the queue to his completed 2 stops. Both of them came during that safety car period. He's in 26. You know what? That might be a very, very important margin for Wayne Walker. Because if he's played the cards right, actually at this point in time, Wayne Walker is getting boxed about the ears. There's this going on. Brad Newman tries to get down the inside. Blake Fitz at the last quarter. I've just seen Daniel Poulton peel off into pit lane, so he'll try and get a service done.
Whoa.
Brad Newman gets to the inside of turn 1. Aggression being displayed across the margin, and Newman's not quite got that job done. It's going to be a dive back up the inside, but I think Fitz just ended up electing to slot in. This is inside the top 20. That's very, very relevant.
What a great racetrack. I said in the opener that regardless of what series race here, it's always a good race. And the supercars aren't definitely not letting us down tonight. It's an incredible racetrack. It's got, you look at the amount of undulation and the different corners that we've got. It's really a track that has a bit of everything. And, mate, it's really turning it on tonight.
Yeah. At the moment, everyone's just sort of started to settle back down into a rhythm. And now it becomes about logging those laps. We've got this little battle pack that's forming, and it's in behind Lachlan Capel. The reason for that is the damage to the front end of the number 18. I can tell you, much like his racing hero, that has not come from ramming into a safety car over a caution period, though.
Oh, dear.
26 to go, halfway through tonight's racing action. 4 rounds to come our way during the qualifying series as well.
How great is it to have the Logitech Pro Series back on our screens? I'm so excited. I'm pumped for this season. I can't get enough of this racing, and we've got such a good bunch of guys and girls that race in our championship. And each and every week, you know, we're so lucky that we've got 4 weeks of this racing leading up to our opening round. And, mate, I just can't wait. I'm so excited that racing's back tonight, and just to see some of the talent that are trying to get into our championship. And like we touched on, some new series as part of 2026 as well, some dirt racing and the Porsches. I mean, we're getting spoiled for racing action this year, no doubt.
Yeah, just taking a quick look across what's coming our way in terms of the qualifying series as well. We're off to Hockenheim Arena next week. Gee, that was a drama-filled one last season as well.
Yep.
The Autodromo International Enzo E. Dino Ferrari, better known as Imola, and then the Red Bull Ring to complete us out for the qualifying series over the next couple of weeks. Unfortunately, I have prior scheduling clashes that are going to prevent me from being here for the next 2 weeks, including a new job starting down in Sydney in the very near future. But I'll be back for the grand finale. It's a good eclectic pick of tracks. Imola back on the calendar as well is always one that the drivers tend to like and have liked over years gone by.
Yep. And love that the Red Bull's in it too. Love the Red Bull Ring. Absolutely love that track.
Racing there last year.
Yeah.
Hockenheim Ring. The Hockenheim Ring and Canadian Tire Mosport Park, I think, are just solid lots for the Q Series moving into the future. I can't believe two tracks that never fail to give us drama. Sebring and Mosport. And they're always the championship openers.
I need to boost. I think I need to boost my heart medication for Sebring because every year, mate, I'm so surprised how Sebring just turns it on every year. Here we go, dive into the lane. That's Tom Freer, is it?
Yep, he'll have 10 seconds of penalty to serve though at the end of it. And the risk of a potential safety car. Aaron Borg, by the way, was the car that did get in the back of Teo Serrano. He has 5-second time penalty from the incident on lap 20. Curious to see if Tom Freer elects to take that time penalty. I would hazard a guess that he does so, because he will definitely want to get that one cleared before the end of the race. Risk of rain, risk of safety cars will continue to grow. By the way, the rain is running away from us, unfortunately. Every single time I see an update, the chance of rain grows lower and lower.
We get sad about it and the drivers get happy about it.
That they do. Halfway through from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. This is the lead group. But reminder that Robbie Gibbs has got a 5-second time penalty. Saucy sits first on track. He's not going to stay there. Will Brown's return to the racing circuit as well. That's just in front of our leaders. OG Gear Replay. Sandman's got the deets.
Let's check out some action. That's roll and Bill Roll. Now this is that pit exit? Yes. Move up the inside. Oh, that did not end well. Oh, they've held on to it though. Are you kidding me? So that's a play on. So that could have absolutely turned a custard, a fast part of the racetrack. And I tell you what, you get sideways and touch the grass there, you are firing straight into the tyre barrier. They both got away with it. Unreal.
No way they both lived through that one. That is good car control.
Heart and mouth, I tell you. You get a tap there and you're thinking, you know, it's over.
Yeah, you're heading to it, particularly once you get off the track there, because the track actually runs away once you touch the grass. And you just skates all the way to the exits. There was contact at turn 1. And then...
Is it what? Oh. Poetry in motion, isn't it?
Hayden Veld, eat your heart out. A drifter that loves having a bit of fun. By the way, I was talking to him prior to jumping in tonight, and he was feeling quite confident until he jumped in the server, and then all of a sudden the confidence very quickly evaporated. I'll tell you what, the racecraft has come to the fore in this one. Qualifying time did not go his way. The race pace has been still quite strong from the Eclipse Simsport car in 12th place. And just to make sure that you get all you need out of this incident, there it is.
Look how close he was to touching the grass and got away with it. Fantastic.
Carry on. Pit stops coming our way. Lachlan Capel and Angus Lawford both into the box, which is critical for where those guys are in their group as well. What about Robbie Gibbs at the moment, by the way? He is just barely under 5 seconds ahead of Jake Burton.
Yeah. You know what? I'd probably pit now and put on fresh tyres and see what you can chase down.
And check out Wayne Walker. That's Terrace Toronto, I think, is it the 111 car that got to his inside and getting the touch up. Now remember, Wayne Walker's trying to make the end of the race from here too. So that is some life removed from those rear tyres that he would much rather have still to aid him to the end of this race.
I want to see Robbie Gibbs in. I know he's got 5 seconds to get that penalty done. I'd be in now, get that penalty over and done with, and try and charge at these guys with some fresher tyres while they're out on old rubber. Roll the dice, Robbie. Roll the dice.
Ryan O'Sullivan really kind of doesn't want to see him pit, though. He's the other side of that coin, because he'd love to just sit here and just save some fuel. Aaron Borg is going to absolutely take his penalty and get that one served at the pit stop as well, which means he will not have 5 seconds to pay at the end of the race. He has already handed that one back after infringements with, I believe it was Teo Serrano earlier on. Dennis Gutarik still hanging in and around the top 20. There's a bunch of cars that have already made their stops, by the way. Tyce Hodge, Brian Borg, Lachlan Capel's come out just behind them. But their stops came reasonable time period ago, and the tyres are already starting to wear back out again. Rick Kuznetsov is in a little bit of drama at the moment on the outside of the racetrack and giving up spots. But with his very, very bent race car, he is just targeting, I think, finishing inside the top 20 if he can. At the moment, I don't think that's necessarily going to be all that likely. Staying with that lead group a while longer. Checking with Philippa Bokita. Floating in and around the top 20 at the moment for Bokita. It says in 17th spot, but there is pit stops that have already happened, so she's going to pop in the lane. Here comes. Here comes. Yeah, that pit line's a lot further along.
Yeah. Yeah, she was definitely not expecting him to pull up that quick, but he might have been heading for the wall. That's probably why he had to jump on the anchors. So this is where I would have loved Robbie Gibbs in the lane a couple laps earlier, but hey, what do I know? I'm only a commentator, and these guys know their job better than I do, and he's got his work cut out for him. He will come out just in front of Jake Burton at this stage. It's just over 5 seconds for P5. And Robbie will be doing his absolute best to try and stop the bleeding.
Dylan Pereira now becomes the lead driver to have done 2 stops. By the way, fuel tank limit on these cars tonight, there is none. Remember last year we ran with about 90 litre tank or a 70 litre tank for a fair chunk of the series?
Yeah, no restrictions.
No restrictions tonight, yep.
That's great. Blacklock in. So you can see he's going to tumble down the order, and like you mentioned just before, it's Dylan Pereira that we're going to be watching because he is essentially our leader at this stage because he's made his 2 stops. Blacklock's still in the lane. And he's away, so he will come out. So Sam will be our new race leader.
Well, if he can use these tyres nicely, that should be a pretty reasonable jump as well.
Yep.
So there's every opportunity that he might actually be leading the way. Change for who's set the fastest up of the race. That's actually going to go the way of Angus North. Down the inside, down and around the outside as well. And the elbows are out, and the barbs are being traded, and it continues in the Q Series.
I thought that was going to get a lot messier.
Yeah, 20 spots to play for, and you can tell that these guys know there's 20 spots to play for.
Especially as the laps start ticking away. You think, oh, I've still got a bit of time. Then you look at the lap count and go, oh, I'm running out of time now. I've really got to make these moves. They're all pointing in the right direction.
So after Sam Blacklock was the first of the drivers to pit out of that lead group, that immediately summons the rest of them to the lane. Brad Ratsu, well, he pulled the undercut from the teammates. Jake Burton also dives the lane, so Ratsu's going to go long here. Even though teammates are going the opposite way. Here is Sam Blacklock. Robbie Gibbs has not taken the 5-second time penalty, by the way. So he pops out back in the lead for Sam Blacklock. 1 lap worth of undercut.
Ooh.
There he is.
How good.
And that is the effective race lead.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, that I wanted Gibbs to pit earlier, maybe serve that penalty and chase these guys down on the tyres. But look, he now wants to run. He just basically wants to put some distance between these guys. He wants this race to go green all the way to the end and maybe stop the bleeding that way. So, yeah, interesting. Great jump there from Blacklock.
You know what's really, really interesting that we learned about these cars in the competition last year? In the last few years of the Gen 2, it became all about maximising the undercut. Well, the Gen 3, it's nearly gone the other way in the ability to pick cars off. A 1-lap difference in differential in terms of tyres, though, that is not going to be a huge enough margin. And remember, if you had a look at all those cars, they were still stapled together after, 30 laps on that stint? There's no difference in the tyres on that long run, I can tell you, Sam, man.
Yeah.
So that is going to be very difficult to pick that one off for Sam Blacklock. Brad Ratsu, Hayden Feld, and there was a third driver there that's yet to make their second pit stop, and of course it was the driver who, to this point, has only given us one stop because he didn't stop into that safety car. I can tell there's actually some biffo on for 15th and 16th spot. Lachlan Capel was exchanging paint with Tice Hodge just a few moments ago. That has allowed James Chastanuff to get to the inside. Remember, this is the walking wounded Lachlan Capel who got an overcut on Tice Hodge. Tice Hodge got his second stop out of the way very, very quickly, and Chastanuff wants to know about it. Gets to the inside, gets the job done. Now Ryan Jones arrives on the scene. And the front end of car number 18 is giving it some hassles.
Yeah, I feel for Capel. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling when you just got that slight aero disadvantage and there's nothing he can do about it. He's trying his absolute best to hold on, make that car as wide as he can, but unfortunately he's just a sit and duck.
Ryan Jones with a stand up on the entry to the S's. So he will steal that spot away. Capel falls in car number 18 to 18th spot. New fastest lap of the race for Ryan O'Sullivan. Final pit stops finally coming our way. Hayden Veld has been in, Hayden Veld has been back out. in and around the top 10. That's good enough for Hayden Veld. If he finishes there every round of the championship, no way he is getting knocked out.
Drama! Oh, this is from up the front. Blake Warboys holds onto it. That could have been massive.
Well,
Sam Blacklock and Blake Warboys. Oh my goodness.
And they've gotten away with it.
And now, what did we say about Gibbs? Gibbs wanted to get to the front. Let's go to the replay again. This is
O'Sullivan.
Oh.
O'Sullivan's going to have to give that one back. I reckon Ryan O'Sullivan's probably going to have to give that one back, you know.
It's just continued on. How lucky they didn't fire off into the fence and get damage. But this is what I was talking about. Robbie Gibbs wants to be up front and he wants to try to just make up as much ground as he can because he's got that 5-second penalty.
Well, all of a sudden, if Robbie Gibbs, well, he hasn't served his 5-second time penalty, and if Ryan O'Sullivan gets 5 seconds as well, which, look, it's either going to be no penalty or it's going to be 5 seconds. Well, Robbie Gibbs is all of a sudden going to finish second, potentially, with Blake Warboys is going to be in that marker. We have got a race to the line, and it's going to be a race to the stopwatch, not just the line. And Jake Burton's now arrived on the scene as well. Gee whiz, this has changed in a couple of laps.
Inside. Here we go. Good job there. Jake Burton set him up beautifully. That was a great move, and now it's eyes forward to try and chase down Blake Warboys.
Blackhawk will jump back into it. The toe.
Bump draft, I think, here. Yeah. Just got out of the throttle a little bit. He knows that Burton's got a little bit of pace on his side. I don't think it'll be too much longer before he gets to the back of Blake Warboys, and then what he wants to do is try and chase down and close up that margin a little bit. And the way it's all playing out, if Robbie Gibbs with that 5-second penalty comes out behind Burton, Burton could be P2 after all this plays out.
The big thing for Sam Blackhawk is he's had that massive slide now as well. But also as Blake Warboys, they've both sapped life out of those tyres, heat in those tyres. Do you know, I genuinely reckon Ryan O'Sullivan's got 5 seconds to pay. He's got to run, surely. At the moment, Blake Warboys could win this thing.
Well, if Burton gets past, Burton can win this. So, man, it's just, there's so many things that are going to play out over these next 14 laps. I'm speechless at the moment. I don't know how it's going to play out.
With only 14 laps to go, we are starting to run out of time. Just under 4 kilometres in length too, around Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It means that in a lap and a half time, we are at 50 Ks to go of the 200 that was on the cards for tonight. These margins do matter. Robbie Gibbs has got to find half a second, we think. Ryan O'Sullivan, a question mark hangs over his head currently. And it's been updated. The stewards have just handed it in. 5-second time penalty. Ryan O'Sullivan, contact with Sam Blacklock.
Oh, wow.
There was no overlap when that contact was triggered.
So Gibbs with a penalty, O'Sullivan with a penalty. Blake Warboys is at the point where he can take this win at the moment.
But he has half a second
4.6
to play with. If Jake Burton shows up and harasses him, Robbie Gibbs has got this. And the further contact between Sam Blacklock and Blake Warboys was also noted by the stewards. And the critical factor was straightening Blake Warboys back up and then getting out of it.
Wow. So there's only... it's just under half a second, the gap. 3/10 between Blake Warboys and Robbie Gibbs. Robbie Gibbs could come up and still take this win.
This is the only number we are going to be looking at for the rest of the race, unless Ryan O'Sullivan can get up here. Blake Warboys might even be a Ryan O'Sullivan fan if he can find a turn of speed, run down that 2 seconds and just harass him a little bit, take a little bit away from Robbie Gibbs.
Yeah. With a gap between Sullivan and Warboys. Oh, here we go. There's a car up against the concrete.
Angus Lawford is inside the top 10.
He's got away with it. He's got a little bit of damage to that left front. He'll be on the marbles, just trying to get back up to speed again. So that's hurt him dearly with 12 laps to go.
And there's Will Sapstead for his second and final pit stop of the night. And Angus Lawford might have had a change of paint with Hayden Veld. Slow-mo. Yeah, he's into it.
Oh, he did. Yep. He's made contact with him. And nose to rear contact never favours the car with the nose. So stewards will look at that one. Here we go. This is looking backwards. And this will tell you everything you need to know right there. Yeah. It's that change of direction. Is some people will check up a little bit before that change of direction to settle their car for the next right-hander. So that's where that would have happened. Oh, Blake Warboys holding on 4.8, 4.7. That margin is just fluctuating.
Do you know what?
4.6, 4.8.
Ryan O'Sullivan just took 0.05 of a second back out of Robbie Gibbs. He needs to take more than that, but that says to me that O'Sullivan's got a turn of pace. Most recent lap times for our lead. Let's walk through them all. You know, all the way down to P5 at this point in time. 1 minute 19.959, race leader Robbie Gibbs. 1 minute 19.905, Ryan O'Sullivan. 0.05 of a second gain. Blake Warboys fell off by about 0.02 of a second. Then Jake Burton, the quickest of the lot of them, had them all by over 1/10 of a second. 7.99. Sam Blacklock 9.84. Tell you what, Brad Ratsu's got some pace as well. 1 minute 19.813. So he has pace at the moment. And he could be coming back at these guys. Remember, there was an overcut from Brad Ratsu. He went long. There's an opportunity for him to drive his way up and put himself in contention. With 11 to go, becomes 10 to go, becomes 40 Ks in just a couple corners. And I reckon that Blake Warboys' margin and opportunity for victory tonight's just about gone. How much do you fight Jake Burton?
Yeah, look. Yeah, it's hard because he knows he's in a position where possibly he could still take the win. You know, we're not saying that Robbie Gibbs is going to run the perfect race for the next 10 laps and hit all his marks. He might make a little whoopsie, he might give away a second. You know, you just never know. So he wants to make that car as wide as possible, but Jake's desperate to get past him because look at it, it's 4.8 seconds. Here we go. He's got the inside. He's going to be on the outside for the next part of the corner, but if he can hold strong there, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He's a little bit farther back, but he wants to be on the outside. Right here, he's going to go for the inside. This is essentially a one move for the win. He's done it. He's up the inside, and now all he needs to do is close that margin within 5 seconds.
Who picks that one off, and the fastest car on that lead group again on that most recent lap. Jake Burton took just over 1/10 of a second out of race leader Robbie Gibbs. Sullivan lost a little bit of time. Then it was Warboys at 20.010, Blacklock 20.002. Hayden Veld drive-through penalty for contact with Angus Lawford.
Yep.
What is happening?
Well, it's not over yet.
Is this
We've
the first
still
night
got
of school? They're
margin.
just testing the stewards? Is that what's going on tonight?
They're warming the stewards up for a big 2026. Maybe that's what they're doing, but cool. Burton now needs to be eyes forward. 5.2 seconds is that margin. Essentially, if he can get this margin under 5 seconds, Jake Burton will be your race winner. Robbie Gibbs, Ryan O'Sullivan, both have got 5-second penalties in front of them.
Mate, any time that you bowl a wide at turn 1, run yourself off the circuit and lose 7 spots and claw your way back to win the race, you escaped with 1. So for now, what are they able to do? What's the margin as we track the timing tower?
Imagine a heart rate monitor on Jake Burton and Robbie Gibbs right now.
Think about Sam Blacklock. an opportunity to win this thing tonight. It's gone begging.
Look,
So,
at the end of the day, he's still in a good position to grab a heap of points too. So
Yeah.
it's not a lost cause. As though, we've had Philippa run wide. Oh, still going on with it. She's gathered it up though, but unfortunately just got wide there. I don't know if she had help, but rejoined the racetrack, and most importantly, she's got a straight race car too.
Yeah, that's the critical thing. Just outside of the top 20 now. She ran inside that top 20 just before the first round of pit stops. That's Blake Fitz
Oh dear.
to the inside.
Oh, man.
And the question will be, from that
Which
angle,
save?
did she turn in?
It's a hell of a save.
Good skills on display tonight. Car saving. This will give us a little bit more information. Fitz runs wide through double left. Yeah, you know what? She's probably pinched him.
It's close. Yeah.
But again, it's that angle that doesn't necessarily tell us everything that we need to know. Josh Horton's recovered his way inside the top 15 after a mistake in the strategy. And again, he got there with clean overtakes. There's nothing in the penalties column for Josh Horton. But that'll be frustration.
I'm wondering if Burton has maybe hurt his tyres because he hasn't been able to open up that margin. As we go to an OGV replay. Oh, this is a dive up in the last corner. Oh, it's never ended well. Oh, I'll tell you what, it ended a lot better than what it could have. Stewards will have a look at that one. But, yeah, my concerns here with Burton, he's not able to close that margin on Robbie Gibbs, and the scary bit is he only needs to find half a second. But that's fluctuating, obviously, throughout this lap. But he just hasn't seen. I thought he might have been able to pull away from Blake Warboys and start to close that margin. He didn't need to obviously make up 5 seconds. He only needed to close that margin within a second or so. But 5.4, 5.5, he's got his work cut out for him.
And only a couple laps left to go to do it as well. He's looking at about a 1/10 of a second a lap. He needs to find now. He has made time on this lap to this point, but traffic is coming his way. I think that is still the 023 car, actually. Still circulating at the moment.
Not the best spot to catch him. Hopefully he gets it on the front straight away. Looks like he might.
Leo Duncan's actually still going to score points in this one, which is very, very critical. Do you know the circuit's just gotten a little bit darker?
Are you doing your best rain dance, are you, mate? 6 laps to go. I don't know if it'll be a threat.
No,
Yeah.
forget here. Absolutely nothing is coming at this point in time, so we're going to be fine. But it is getting darker. I reckon this race is going to end and the heavens will open. Remember Road America when exactly that happened? I think it was within 5 minutes of the checkered flag flying, the heavens open.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And we were barracking for it to arrive at that point in time.
Well,
Warboys' tyres have come back to life too.
yeah, he's really putting the pressure on the back of Burton. And look, essentially, if Gibbs does take this win, it's going to be Jake Burton leading over Blake Warboys for the points. So, as Robbie Gibbs comes straight out of the fold, Ryan O'Sullivan's got a penalty. Oh, have a look at Blake. He's trying to push Burton. I just don't think, what are they going to find? That 7/10, that margin just sort of, I think it's more working in Robbie Gibbs' favour. I wonder if these guys have just used up their equipment just that too much and not able to find that half a second.
Yeah, it's just starting to eke out, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is they need to make inroads on each and every lap, or else Robbie Gibbs ticks another one off, ticks another one off, ticks another one off. And with speculation mounting about Robbie Gibbs' future and where he lands, you've noticed that car is in jet black this season. It's not got the Evolution Racing Team branding all over it. He is in search of something coming his way. What that something is, I've heard speculation. I've heard wild speculation. I have heard the insane speculation. So I know that Robbie Gibbs is certainly being talked about. When he walked away from competition in 2025 with a penalty hanging over his head, he hung up the hat for a little bit, walked away, and we didn't know if we'd see him again. And now he's starting to make his way towards perhaps a golden ticket. But in the last lap or so, Jake Burton writes another line in this storybook. 5 laps to go becomes 4. We are under 20 kilometres. We're about to be under 16. Robbie Gibbs has got 4 laps to lose less than 0.6 of a second. And as they get to the line, the margin extends. There was a mistake for Burton in the final sector. He crawled his way out of the final sector. That margin becomes 0.8 of a second, 4 laps. It is now 0.2 of a second a lap. It's doable. But only if Robbie Gibbs thinks about what this means to him before he crosses that line. He has got to think about apexes. He has got to think about corners in front of him and not what the checkered flag means.
Yeah, it's still so easy just to make a little tiny mistake and you know, to lock a brake and just run a tiny bit wide. It doesn't need to end his night, but if he gives up half a second, that could be chaos because he knows he's in the catbird seat. He knows that he just needs a clean few laps and then he'll take the win. Flashing the headlights just to let the drivers know around him. He's coming up on lap traffic. He's like, please get out of my way. I beg you. I don't need to be held up by even just a 10th or 2.
Jamie Dyke will jump out of the way and he will jump out of the way early. He's not the kind to get involved in this one. For Jamie Dyke, he probably won't know that there's any margin. In fact, Jamie Dyke dives the pit lane. That is the best way to get out of that lead battle. 3 laps to go. Lap time, 19.970 on the previous lap, 20.175. What has Jake Burton found? A 19.984! There's 0.2 of a second!
Oh. And his teammate in Kirk Stenberg's having a cracker race back here for 7th and 8th. But you're right, 5.3 seconds now. The pressure is starting to mount on Gibbs. He knows he's got to just keep it straight. 5.2, that's the margin we're going to look at all the way for the next 3 laps. That's what's going to decide the winner from tonight. Will it be Robbie Gibbs? Will it be Jake Burton? 5.1 now.
It comes to lap time. We thought the tyres on the rear end of the number 8 were going off. It's been given a second breath of life. It's time trials, it's sectors, it's individual corners, it is micro-locking and micro moments of wheel spin down the back straightaway. That is what it's come down to. Gibbs edged and edged and edged away. 2 laps left to run. Are you kidding me, boys? What have you got for me when we come to the stripe? From Robbie Gibbs, he wants a golden ticket. He wants to be here in 2026. Is he going to earn it tonight, or does he have to race his way in? 8 Ks! 8 goddamn Ks! And Burton takes another 10th and a half! The metrics are going through the roof. My oil is burning in my home at the moment. What is Jake Burton doing to us?
He is taking it down to the wire. This won't be decided until the last corner of the last lap. If someone makes the slightest mistake, it's going to cost them dearly. It's going to cost them a golden ticket into the 2026 season. 5.4 seconds at the moment now for Burton.
I thought this was dead and buried. 0.8 of a second, 0.2 a lap. That's not happening. No, it's not happening. Are you kidding me that we are actually talking about it? No further action cars 686 and 326. It does not matter. This is a time trial, but it's not on fresh rubber. They had 4 nights of pre-qualifying for that. 4 nights to stick the best Pirellis, the best Dunlops they've got, the best setups they've got. Tire life did not matter. Now it does. Crunch time, pressure. Here it comes. Ks. That is what stands between us and the first golden ticket of the season. Robbie Gibbs, you've got 0.3 of a second in your corner. Can you make it last?
Every lap, Jake Burton has taken time out. It wasn't a lot for the last lap round. It's 5.2 seconds, 5.1. It's going to fluctuate all the way to the final corner. So it's hold your breath stuff for Gibbs. He doesn't want to make a mistake. It's now 5.071. Jake Burton is trying to close it up. It will fluctuate a little bit before we get to the final corner, but I guarantee you it is coming down to the last turn.
It is Moss corner. Robbie Gibbs will light up those rear tyres. He has got 3 corners to worry about. It hit 5.0 again. We go to the split screen. We're going to go to the micro sector. We are going to go to every percentage of throttle input. Time trials, 5 laps. You boys have put on a show. There'll be no overtakes. It'll come down to the timing line. Robbie Gibbs, are you locked in? Jake Burton, are you locked in? Australia, are you locked in? Here we go. Robbie Gibbs, second flag in the air. He'll take it. Does he hang on for Jake Burton? What has he got left? No! I think he did. He took time out of it. What's the metric? It's not going to be enough. Robbie Gibbs is in.
Can you believe it? Down to the last corner, a 5-second penalty that hung over Robbie Gibbs, and he has held on to hold off Jake Burton by 0.3 of a second to take the win and take a golden ticket into the 2026 season.
I cannot believe. I'm glad I've got 2 weeks of vacation. I've got nothing left. I just burned everything I had for the next 3 weeks on that one. My word. Night one, 2026, and it comes to that after safety cars, after fumbled restarts.
It was carnage, everything.
3 more races to go. There was carnage, there was bent race cars, there were things in the fence, there was drifting clinics put on that we thought we were making the fence. This is why they're the best series in the country. I don't care what anyone else has got. I don't care what they've got in GT3, in LMP2. Get him, so get that out of here. This is why we go racing. My word.
The Supercar Series from day dot has been an absolute cracker. And the moment that it was announced that Logitech G were going to come and partner up with the V8 Pro Series, I mean, it was a recipe for great racing, and that's what we've seen from day dot. This is only the qualifying series, guys and girls. This is just to get on the grid for 2026. And Robbie Gibbs now...
That's all that was.
Yeah, he can now relax for the next few weeks and know that he is a guaranteed starter for the 2026 season.
Do you know what the best part? There was 43 other cars in the middle of that. We talked about 4. There were battles that we didn't see. And the qualifying series puts that on. Let's go back to qualifying at the start of the night, because I think it's really, really important. Burton 18.709, pole by just over 1/10 of a second. But then you take from second all the way through to a 19.8. There wasn't a 19.8. The whole of our qualifying series was covered by less than a second. And then, at the back end, after 51 laps, their lap times were covered by less than a second. The back end of things, they were covered by less than 10ths, and then Burton found them. Can you tell me anywhere else in the sim-osphere that happens?
How good. Now, obviously, the times and the results you see are unofficial, because obviously Robbie Gibbs has got the 5-second penalty along with Ryan Sullivan, but I can assure you Robbie Gibbs has held on by 0.3 of a second. Ryan Sullivan will finish in P5. So what an unbelievable race. I told you, this racetrack, it never lets you down, and boy oh boy, this is going to be one for the record books. People are going to go back and watch this because that was an absolute cracker. How much enjoyment is Robbie going to get when he goes back and watches the replay?
Boy, my word. And the best part, you know, the best part is everything we talked about in the pre-show. This is not just V8 supercar stuff. How much have you followed the Ocean Egg Dirt Sim event stuff that we're actually going to be calling this year? We've got a Porsche Cup series that we don't even have a look at, and we don't have a form guide for yet.
Yeah.
Congratulations to these boys. But my word, when I was told, make sure that you're not doing anything for every Wednesday, for 40 Wednesday nights in 2026, this is the reason why. Robbie Gibbs will take the chocolates, but the critical factors, Hayden Veld, that's a critical note. That's a drive-through penalty and still 20th place, which is very important. That is the cutoff line in terms of point scoring. Robbie Gibbs grabs himself a free ticket into the main game for 2026. Robbie, what were you looking at for the last 5 laps? Because I can tell you we were looking at the microsectors, my guy.
Yeah, I think I was trying my best just to hold the number, stick to a lap time because it was pulling out a little bit of a gap to, I think it was Blake before Jake, and then I was pretty happy, sort of just looking after it, and I think I made like 1 or 2 mistakes with 4 to go, and it started every lap coming back at 10th, and I was just, oh no. But yeah, held it together, kept it to the number in those last sort of 10 laps or so, so pretty happy with that.
Do you want to know the best part? The thing that just come through my head was you go back 2 years ago. We go back to 2024 and Sebring 2024 and all of the drama that came out of that race, and you rose to the top on that occasion. There was so much that went on tonight, and you've done the same damn thing. Oh, gee, mate. So for me, that means the fuel that goes into Robbie Gibbs' success is there's got to be beef, there's got to be drama, there's got to be pain exchanged, and chaos has to happen, and then all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, that was pretty calm. Mate, you sound like Oscar Piastri. I've got to be honest with you at the moment.
Well, man, I don't really know what you're talking about in regards to Sebring, because I'm pretty sure I won that race on pure pace. But yeah, no, look, I'd rather. I felt like I was racing Jake tonight, and then I think he made a little mistake one point, and yeah, I was sort of bit bummed with the penalty. I didn't think it really was warranted, but cop it on the chin and just kept driving. And Bo, my fabulous spotter, said, "Oh, there's Biff behind," and from that point on, it was just head down, bum up, and look after the stuff, but try and get a bit of pace out of it as well.
And that is just exceedingly difficult to try and do in any stretch of the imagination. There's a bit of mystery circulating with yourself, and there's a bit of mystery, but a lot of speculation going on at the moment. Can you talk about anything regarding 2026 yet, or is this watch this space still?
Yeah, bit of watch this space. There's hopefully a bit going on in the background, but nothing concrete yet. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to having a bit of fun again, and it's a good way to start it.
Mate, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Our first golden ticket out of the Wildcard Series. Robbie Gibbs, there's no sponsors on the car, but I still think just with the guy you are, there'll be a few thank yous that are about to be handed out.
Yeah, of course. Thanks to the to league admin, commentary team, you guys, Bo for spotting. He was pretty good at keeping me focused throughout the race, and yeah, that's pretty much it from me.
Mate, congratulations. I, for one, am very happy to see you back on the grid. And good news, Sebring's on the calendar, mate, so we'll lock you in for a race win there, yeah? So we're talking to you in a few months' time?
Yep, on pure pace, I hear you.
On pure pace, absolutely. Lock it in. We are ready to chat Robbie Gibbs in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, one driver has been picked for the field already for season 2026. We are off to pick another next week at the Hockenheimring. Sandman, I'm out of here, and after tonight, that voice needs an extended holiday, mate. How do you think we're going to fare from the Hockenheimring? It's got a massive straight, it's got parabolica, and that leads into one of the tightest hairpins on the calendar.
Absolutely, and always a little bit of a recipe for disaster. Everyone gets a little bit dive bomb happy and last of the late breakers, so no doubt there's going to be just as much action as we've seen tonight. Man, I'm going to go back and have a sleep and rest up because I don't know if we've got another race like that. Inby, that was incredible. Well done to you, Scotty. Great call, great racing action, and I can't wait to get to the Hockenheimring.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that's it for the qualifying series, nah, 3 more rounds yet to come. 19 more selections for season 2026 to be picked. This is V8 Supercar Racing. This is the Chevrolet Camaro versus the Ford Mustang. This is the V8 Pro Invitational.
We are gaming fanatics. Our goal has never been to just play games. We think it's much better to feel like you're actually in.
Hi, I'm Jada. I currently race GT3 in Australia. It's a cool brand. The socks and the gloves are quite cool, and it's good to use on the sim. High quality materials, and most importantly, comfortable. Quite cool to feel all the bits doing their job, and that's good.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races such as the Daytona 24, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR schedule, such as the Daytona 500. We have events from disciplines all across the racing world, from the Indianapolis 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events utilize iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against every driver taking part. And as every race progresses, watch and feel the track change with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iRacing.com/special-events.